Claude Code just shipped a silent bug into a live invoice run at 2 a.m. The client sees it before you do. If you're running anything real on Claude Code, a billing flow, an inbox bot, a lead engine, you already know the build is the easy part. Day 2 is what kills solo products. Most tutorials stop at, "It works on my machine." I'll show you the 5 logs and checks that catch breakage before a paying client ever sees it. By the end, you'll have the exact Day 2 stack to copy. I'm Nazar. I run 3 live products solo on 1 home server. Let me show you the log. Nobody wires until it's too late. Let me describe the day that made me build all of this. A small invoicing product I run for clients was generating about 180 invoices that morning on a normal cron. Claude Code had refactored a helper function the night before. The function still ran. No exception, no alert. It just rounded VAT the wrong way on a specific tax class. 41 invoices went out to real customers before anyone noticed. And the only reason anyone noticed is that one of those customers replied to the email. That's Day 2. That's the part the 4-hour build courses never show you. The build phase, Claude Code is genuinely incredible at. The Day 2 phase, where it ships into something live with money and clients attached, is where 95% of solo Claude Code businesses quietly die in month 2. So I want to walk you through the 5 logs and checks I now wire into every live product I run, and into every client system we ship at the agency. None of these need fancy tools. All of it runs on a normal home server or a cheap VPS. Log 1 is the structured action log. Every time Claude Code touches a file in a live repo, I want a row written somewhere I can. grep, timestamp, file path, the diff hash, the prompt or task that triggered it, and the commit it ended up in. The reason is simple. When something breaks on Tuesday, I don't want to scroll through chat history trying to remember what I asked it to do on Sunday. I want to query a table. The easiest way to wire this is a tiny pre-commit hook plus a hook on your Claude Code session that writes a JSON line per change to a local SQLite file or a flat log. You'll thank yourself the first time a customer reports a weird bug. And you can answer in 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes. Log 2 is the live product heartbeat. This is a synthetic transaction that runs every few minutes and pretends to be a real user. For an invoicing flow, it generates a fake invoice end-to-end against a test account and checks the PDF actually came out with the right total. For an inbox automation, it sends a synthetic email from a known address and waits for the bot to react within a time budget. If the heartbeat fails twice in a row, I get pinged. The point is not unit tests. The point is to catch the silent regressions Claude Code introduces, the ones where nothing throws, but the output is subtly wrong. The VAT bug I mentioned earlier would have been caught by a heartbeat that asserts the total on a known input. Log 3 is the cost ceiling. Claude Code, agents, LM calls, all of it can run away. I've seen a single misconfigured loop burn through more API budget in one night than the product makes in a week. So I wire a hard daily ceiling per product. Every call goes through a thin wrapper that increments a counter in Redis, or even just a file. If the counter crosses a threshold, the wrapper refuses further calls and pages me. Not a soft warning email. A real notification on my phone. This one check has saved me money more times than I want to admit. Log 4 is the Cron health check, and this is the one almost nobody sets up. If your product depends on a scheduled job, invoice generation, daily reports, lead enrichment, follow-up emails, you need to know when the Cron didn't run, not just when it ran and failed. The pattern is a dead man switch. Your cron job on success pings a tiny endpoint. If that endpoint hasn't received a ping within the expected window, it alerts you. You can self-host this in 20 lines or use a free tier service. The reason this matters on day 2 is that Claude Code will sometimes refactor your deploy config, your systemd unit, or your Docker entry point in a way that doesn't fail loudly. It just stops running. Without a dead man switch, you find out a week later when a client asks why they didn't get their report. Log 5 is the before merge Claude review prompt, and this is the one that catches roughly 80% of breakage before it ships. Before any change to a live product gets merged, I run the diff through a second Claude Code session with a very specific prompt. The prompt is not, review this code. The prompt is a checklist tied to the actual product. Does this change touch any money calculation? Does it change any database schema? Does it modify any external API contract? Does it change any cron schedule? Does it touch authentication? If any of those are true, it has to explain why and what the rollback plan is. This sounds heavy. It takes 30 seconds. And it catches the changes that look innocent in a diff but ripple into client-facing behavior. Quick demo of all of this working together. I'm going to intentionally introduce a regression in the invoice rounding logic. I commit it. The pre-merge Claude review flags it because it touches a money calculation and the explanation doesn't match the diff. I override the warning on purpose to simulate a tired night. The change deploys. Within 4 minutes, the heartbeat runs a synthetic invoice. The total comes back wrong, and my phone buzzes. Total exposure window under 5 minutes, 0 real clients affected. That is the entire point of day 2. You are not trying to prevent every bug. You are trying to make sure that when Claude Code, or you, or a dependency, ships something broken into a live product, you find out before your customer does. If you're running a live product solo, and you want this day 2 stack wired into your Claude Code setup properly, that's exactly what we build for clients at bizflowai.io. Go look at the kinds of systems we ship there. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next breakdown finds you, because the next one is the exact pre-merge review prompt. And if you've got a workflow you want automated end-to-end, book a free 30-minute discovery call at bizflowai.io and we'll map it out.